In Generation 3, there are 396 obtainable Pokemon, all of which have a shiny variant that can be hunted, with one exception. Celebi, being a mythical Pokemon, cannot be found through ordinary means within the Generation 3 Pokemon games. The only way to obtain a Celebi is to transfer it to your game via one of two bonus discs created for Pokemon Colosseum. While shiny locks were few and far between back then, this bonus disc Celebi was one of the unfortunate few to receive them. So no matter how many times you try to transfer the Celebi to your games, it will never be shiny. Without any other way to obtain Celebi, it stands alone as the only unobtainable shiny Pokemon in the entirety of Generation 3. Well, unless you're willing to get a bit creative. Before we get started, I want to emphasize that this is not a how-to video. As such, I will be glossing over important details here and there. So if this looks like something you'd be interested in doing, I'll leave some helpful resources that I followed down below. For those unfamiliar with the Pomegberry glitch, I'll do a quick rundown. Introduced in Pokemon Sapphire and Ruby, the Pomegberry initially could only be used as an ingredient for Pokeblocks. However, in Pokemon Emerald, the berry could now be used on your Pokemon directly to boost friendship at a cost to their HP EVs. Unlike in future iterations of Pokemon, if you were to use a Pomegberry on a Pokemon with 1 HP in Emerald version, the Pokemon will faint, or drop into negative HP. This has all sorts of wacky implications, like sending out a fainted Pokemon into battle, and running around in the overworld with a party full of fainted Pokemon. While the Pomeg glitch in Gen 3 can only be executed in Emerald, we can still utilize it in Pokemon Fire Red by trading over our glitch Banette with negative HP. But we'll be needing much more than just our Banette to pull this glitch off. The first of our preparations will be completing some in-game trades. One for Chiding, the Farfetch'd, and another for Mark, the Lickitung. Glitches like this are extremely particular, so we need exactly these two Pokemon for the setup. Now, while we're specifically going for Celebi, this glitch can actually be used to obtain several other Pokemon as well, so we need to specify which one we're targeting. We can do this by EV training our Farfetch'd. To figure out how many EVs to give to our Farfetch'd, we take the index number of our Pokemon, in Celebi's case that's 251, and then long divide that index number by 256. Your quotient will be the number of attack EVs that Farfetch'd requires, and the remainder will tell you how many HP EVs. In this case, our quotient is 0, so we'll only have to worry about EV training our Farfetch'd in HP. So we can start by giving our Farfetch'd 10 HP ups to get to 100 HP EVs, and from there we can simply KO exactly 151 Whismur in Rustturf Tunnel. To make this step easier, I used an EXP share on my Farfetch'd and KO'd the Whismur with a higher level Pokemon. Now, I know all of this is sounding like one of those playground rumors you'd hear as a kid, but trust me, this is going somewhere. With our Pomeg glitched Banette, EV trained Farfetch'd, and Lickitung, our final stop will be at the daycare on the 4th Sevi Island. While Celebi can't produce eggs, our Farfetch'd can, and using a little bit of save corruption magic, we can trick the game into thinking this Farfetch'd is actually a breedable Celebi. To do this, we hand over our Farfetch'd and a Ditto to the daycare lady, and place our Lickitung into exactly slot 27 in box number 2. Next, we pick up 3 random Pokemon and faint them all, leaving just our glitched Banette and 3 fainted Pokemon in our party. Then, we bike back and forth until an egg has been produced. However, we won't be picking it up just yet. Instead, we save. With that, we can officially start the save corruption part of the glitch. First, we need to surf for an encounter, flee, and deposit the 3rd member of our party into the PC box. Then we can use a full restore on Banette, surf for an encounter again, go into the summary of our 2nd slot Pokemon, exit the summary, then press up on the D-pad 87 times. While this all seems very random, these last few steps have allowed us to access beyond the 6th slot of our party and into our PC box. We're scrolling up 87 times with the goal of corrupting the data of our daycare Pokemon, turning it into a Celebi. Unfortunately, there's some RNG involved in this step. We're looking for the 1st slot of our party to not be highlighted on the 5th D-pad input, highlighted for the 6th, and finally not for the 7th. If you get this sequence, you can continue and do the rest of the inputs. Otherwise, you have to soft reset and try again. I'm not sure what exactly the odds are for a good sequence, but it took me 20 minutes and 8 resets to get my first one. Sadly, just because we get a good sequence doesn't necessarily mean the glitch was pulled off correctly. To check the results, we go back into the daycare, open up the PC, and check our Lickitung. If the Lickitung is exactly the circle and triangle mark, the glitch was successful. If not, like our first attempt here, we have to soft reset and try again from before the 87 input step. And so after 2 hours of non-stop attempts, we got the marked Licky Tongue.
We're going to collect this egg, then we're going to surf on the water, and then we're going to throw out the egg, which doesn't really make sense, but that's just how it works with the glitch. We're going to throw our egg into battle, except it won't look like an egg. It should look like a Celebi if I've done this correctly. I'm hoping to see very specifically Celebi, and it might look a little bit weird, but we're gonna see. So there's a Wooper, here's our egg, and it's a f***ing Farfetch'd. No.
At this point, I'm panicking, because that clearly is not a Celebi. According to everything I had researched on the setup, if you see the triangle and circle marks, the glitch should be successful. Clearly I messed up somewhere, but I had no idea at which stage. Thankfully I had a backup save during the previous step of the glitch, just in case something like this happened, so I reloaded it and tried again. We did not get it on the first try. I wouldn't see a marked Licky Tongue for another 40 minutes.
Okay, please. Go egg.
Again, I have no idea whether I missed a step or if I was just getting unlucky. Despite this uncertainty, I kept going. By the time I got my next marked Licky Tongue, it was nearly 4 a.m.
I got the marks. Please work. Come on, show me Celebi. Show me Celebi. Yes! Oh my god. Yes!
Now that we have our Celebi, we can start the hunt. While it looks like we're picking up the same exact egg every time, they're actually all unique. So we can pick it up, throw the egg into battle, and check if the Celebi is shiny. If not, we reset and try again until it is. This glitched egg form of Celebi sadly does not have a unique shiny form. In fact, when this Celebi shines, it will look exactly the same. So the only way we'll be able to tell if it's shiny is if we see the little sparkle animation play. As you can imagine, this is quite easy to miss, but I'm just going to cross my fingers and hope for the best. I should note that because we use a wild battle to check if the Celebi is shiny, there's also a 1 in 8192 chance that the wild encounter that we see will be shiny instead. And naturally, that's exactly what happened. But this actually turned out to be a blessing in disguise, because I somehow forgot to hit record before starting the hunting session for the day. So while it sucks to not have a live reaction for the shiny Wooper, I was just glad it wasn't the Celebi. Oh, and yes, that is a shiny Wooper caught in a Master Ball. I promise this makes sense, but I'll explain later. Before that, we need to talk about just how long this Wooper took to find. I started this hunt on May 24th. I didn't find this Wooper until October 2nd. 11,000 resets may or may not look that bad, but after you account for the 11,000 random encounters that we saw as well, we're suddenly nearing triple odds for the one shiny. So I decided to add in a second fire red to hopefully speed this process up. And thankfully, it worked. Kind of. Oh no. Another Wooper, dude. Okay, now don't get me wrong, Wooper has a great shiny, but that's not what I'm here to hunt. There are much easier ways to get this shiny. Thankfully, this one showed up much faster, but now that we're back in a similar situation, I can explain the Master Ball. Because we only have fainted Pokemon and an egg in our party, if our level 5 Celebi is KO'd, we'll white out and fail the shiny. While this Wooper is only level 11, the first one was level 21, so our level 5 Celebi didn't stand much of a chance. Despite having a very easy rate of capture, the first ball I threw at the Wooper failed to catch it, I then got hit under half health, and decided not to risk it. But for the second one, I managed to catch it on the first ball. That phase puts us at 12,123 total resets. Hopefully, not too much longer now. Oh. So once again, fantastic shiny, but there are much easier ways to get it. What I'm here for is this Celebi, but at this point we're sitting at 19,665 resets, and I'm getting very tired of this hunt. But it could be much worse. For those of you that plan to embark on this hunt for yourself, I highly suggest backing up your save once you've set up the glitch, because by the time we see this shiny Psyduck, we've already picked up the Celebi egg. So, if we want to catch the shiny and save, we would have to redo the glitch for a new Celebi egg in order to continue the hunt. Instead, I was able to catch the shinies, trade them to a different cartridge, and revert to our backup save to pick up where we left off. As the days turned to months and the encounters piled up, I was beginning to doubt whether I would ever find a shiny Celebi. Had I made a mistake somewhere, or had I missed the sparkle animation and accidentally reset over it? But I had come too far to start worrying about that now. I got it! I got it! Yes! Shiny Celebi. I know I saw that. I'm gonna save. Yes, dude! Here's our egg. Boom! Finally, after 21,377 resets, we have our shiny Celebi. Or at least our shiny Celebi egg. We still have to hatch it. Normally this wouldn't be that big of a deal, but much like everything else related to this hunt, this is going to be quite tedious. Our Celebi egg takes much longer to hatch than your average egg. Despite Celebi typically being impossible to own in egg form, the Pokemon's required egg cycles to hatch can still be found listed on Bulbapedia. In Generation 3, to complete one egg cycle, the player must take 256 steps. Multiply that by 120 egg cycles, and you get 30,720 steps to hatch the Celebi. For reference, a Magikarp egg requires just 5 egg cycles, or 1,280 steps. But honestly, after all I've been through during this hunt, this was just a very long victory lap. It's so weird hatching a Celebi. There it is. Shiny Celebi. Oh, gorgeous. What a shiny. I don't have a nickname yet, but we can think about that later. Here we go. There it is. Shiny Celebi. That took a bit. that was quite the grind, but well worth it. If you guys enjoyed today's video, you'll probably like this other video where I shiny hunted every single legendary from the Kanto region. So feel free to check that out if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more, peace.